it's nice to know from me that nothing happened for the first 12 months, but the last 6 months things have started to move. Is that one way of interpreting what you said?
That's one way of interpreting it.
When you come into this kind of role, as someone, I mean, I've been doing internationalisation myself for 30 years. I'm really ancient, and I've been, doing it since the very, very beginning of my academic career. When you come into this kind of role, and you come into a university which has got fantastic academics who do lots of international things, one thing you need to try and do is to try and spread that enthusiasm for internationalisation and demonstrate that you value what they do. Because I think in a world where both academics and professional services have a multiplicity of things they need to be doing and have constant demands, they need to be doing this, they need to be doing that, they need to have a sense that making a choice to do things which are international makes sense, both for them individually, for their careers and for the institutions. So one thing I've tried to do is increase the importance the university attaches to internationalisation. I think internationalisation is absolutely essential for universities. I would think that, wouldn't I? It comes with the job. I think it's essential from an academic perspective because we can't afford, as academics, to be national anymore, or not to be international. Because if we're about advancing knowledge, that is something that happens at a frontier which is international. So if you're going to be a good academic, you have to be international. If you're not international, you're not at the cutting edge of research. So being a prof, I of course would say that first. But the other reason is, of course, that if we want to prepare our students appropriately for the world, we have to prepare them for a globalised society. And that means not seeing international students as a cash cow. I mean, they are important. Money is important. It pays all our salaries. But international students are important because we owe it to them to provide a good education. And a lot of what professional services is about is providing stuff which is often, I think, seen too much as backroom kind of work. It's not important. It really is important because when the students interact with professional services, they interact in ways which are often more meaningful for their lives and for their experience. Because when they interact with academics, they interact on a curricular level in terms of their assessment. But I think what professional services do is they enhance that and look at the whole student. So I think that's really, really important. And I think we need to see our international students as contributing to the internationalisation of our campus. So, one of the things I want to do at Keele is I want to get students who come to Keele to see the Keele experience as being international. So international is not what you do when you leave the UK and go somewhere else. Because for students who come here, this is an international experience. And so what we, I think, need to realise is international is the interaction between different nationalities. It's not being somewhere exotic. Although this is quite pleasant, it's not exotic from our perspective. But when our students come and we have a photo competition, for example, we had a photo competition which I gave out prizes to a year ago for incoming students about their international experience and for our outgoing students. So down one side of the room, there were the international photos and then there were the Keele photos. And I was thinking, well, frankly, from the international student's perspective, the Keele photos are international. And we shouldn't just see international what happens out there. So I think that when we get our students here, we should see them as a resource. They're a cultural resource for our other students. They're an intellectual resource in terms of bringing different perspectives in. And our international students are more demanding in some ways. They have more problems often acclimatising, getting used to these weird and wonderful habits we have in the UK, the way we do business. And so I think in that context, we are increasingly reliant on our professional services, and they are professional services. I think you are a group of professionals. They're increasingly reliant on those services to make their experience meaningful and to allow them to foster the kinds of relationships which develop their understanding of the world beyond the narrow curriculum. So one of the things I'm really trying to do, and we presumably, like your universities as well, are in the process of allocating our Erasmus mobility funding for next year. I'm about to send out the call in the next 48 hours. One thing I'm keen to do is encourage colleagues to go out who are not just academics. So it's great if academics go out and develop links, but it's also really important that professional services see themselves as part of an international profession, which delivers support for students. And I think academics have got a lot to learn about how their discipline is conducted elsewhere. But I think professional services also have a lot to learn. It doesn't mean you don't know, but you have a lot to learn and to bring back to your universities. So I think internationalisation is also what professional services do when they have these kind of events, when they learn from each other how not to do things, but also hopefully how to do things. So in that context, I think this kind of event is fantastic. And having this kind of thematic organisation is really something that's relatively new, because what used to happen, there used to be individual admin staff, professional services staff going out, and that was great, but having this kind of focus where you are all bringing to the table different perspectives on one, in this case, on the student support area, is really helpful. So I hope that in your time here you've found it useful making contacts. I think internationalisation, this kind of event allows you to make contacts which hopefully build up networks. So I hope it's not an event which stops here. I hope that you will continue to contact each other. You're welcome any time to come back and visit us. We would love to have you here, and I'm sure that we'll apply for Manchester Net and Harper Avenue as well. But we'd love to have you here. I'm really glad you came. And last but not least, I really want to thank my colleagues who've helped organise this. I'm sure there's been help elsewhere as well, but Ian's team has been really supportive, and the global education team we have, which helps organise Erasmus Mobility. So I know, having done a lot of international events myself, that the better they run, the less you notice how much work has gone into organising them. So thank you, Ian, for all your work, and thank you all for coming, and sorry to have stopped you having your dinner, but it's now dinner and drinks time. Okay?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, shall we?